Hi, everybody. This is Tracy Swallow from Interactive TV Today and the co-producer of the TV of Tomorrow show. And to my, I'm never sure which side because the pictures change around, right or left, is Mike Fitzsimmons, who's the CEO of a company here also in San Francisco called Delivery Agent, which is deliveryagent.com. And Mike is been in this business for a long time. An innovator. We've spoken to you several occasions, and you keep pushing forward the TV and commerce, or shopping and TV agenda, which, the industry has been trying to, figure out what is that solution, how to make interactive TV, how to make on-demand or multi-platform, OTT, whatever it is, pay for itself and actually, become a money-generating industry. So more can come from behind that, right? That is one of the goals. I always talk about it when we have this universe, when it's commerce enabled, that's sort of the blood running through the veins, right? It's making it live and thrive. But anyway, Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself first before we go into the whole company, or I can read your bio. You're from Virginia. You like the House of Cards. I just loved that last season. Boy, that was amazing. But all right, so you're chairman and CEO of Delivery Agent. Tell us a little bit about your platform, yourself, and why you have taken. You've been at the reins of Delivery Agent now for a while, but why you feel Delivery Agent is really, your exciting opportunity moving forward.
It's funny with what you just said too, because one of the inspirations for our company right out of the gate was we're just huge fans of entertainment and content. And actually, as we've thought about the challenges that the industry faces and sort of chaos in the industry, what we take great pride in is trying to help content owners and advertisers monetize content better. So frankly, great content can continue to be produced, right? So it's in its basic form, as you mentioned, that is at the root of all of this. There's a lot of change taking place, and our goal in the world is to help content owners, advertisers, retailers, et cetera, monetize the television in new ways to hopefully protect this great ecosystem that we all love and cherish. As the CEO of the company, founded the company, we just celebrated our 10th year anniversary, believe it or not, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, I know. So that's cool.
Well, itvt, which is their publication, is 18 years old, but our event coming up in June, which our Chad will be there, is 10 years old as well. Yeah. So, and believe it or not, we grew more rapidly in 2015 than we had in any year in our history, even though on a much larger revenue base. So it's an exciting time for us. I think it's an exciting time for the industry. And as you said, we just continue to pursue the journey and the mission and try and, make our way through all the chaos that's in front of us to try and organize this ecosystem and make money for everyone. Well, there's a lot to talk about as far as what your platform is, what Delivery Agent does, but I'm going to, shall we play the video now, or do you want to talk about that when you speak about the specific platform, ShopTV?
No, that's fine. And let me just set the video up for you, though, just so the group knows what we're looking at. So this is just a quick video recap of a number of the great campaigns that were executed on the ShopTV platform of Delivery Agent in 2015. For those that are close to the category and understand why this is so exciting, is this is all using both our ShopTV app that's installed in smart TVs as well as ACR to basically trigger dynamic overlays over national television spots to drive more engagement, ultimately drive transactions and give greater measurement and sort of accountability around the actual ad spot itself. So that's what you're going to see here. It's just a quick run. Ranging from Toyota to Domino's to all kinds of guys in between of advertisers that have been live on our platform last year.
Okay. All right, here goes. interesting. I mean, I think in the video it shows you're doing all kinds of things, subscriptions, purchasing perhaps directly, right out of the program. Tell me a little bit about this platform, but in general. After that, I want to talk more about the ecosystem that you have built around, with many broadcasters and how you fulfill products. And let's talk about that. But let's talk about the platform ShopTV.
Yeah. And just to take a step back in terms of our journey, when we started the company, believe it or not, our first client was NBC Universal, and the proposition we walked in the door with was, hey guys, let's monetize your content through commerce. Give us a couple shows. We want to enable people to buy the products they see while they're watching the shows, right? That's where we started. They gave us Will and Grace and Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. Those are the first two shows, right? And in that time, what we did is we built out online storefronts that viewers that could watch the show could then go log on to after they finished watching and purchase stuff. That was really the proposition. Highly complex for us to figure out the rights, the data, the technology to make all that work. And let's all remember, we were not in a tethered living room at that time. Frankly, many of us didn't even have wireless connectivity in our living rooms. We certainly didn't have a smartphone or a tablet, right, like we do today. So anyway, all that foundational work that we did from sort of day one now manifests itself in what the ShopTV platform is. And the crazy thing is, in our early phases, we had to figure out the bottom of the purchase funnel, which is the hardest part. How the heck do you get someone to actually put their credit card in and buy something, right?
Is this pre-PayPal? This isn't pre-PayPal, though.
Pre our PayPal relationship, back in the day, if you will. But just as a general consumer challenge, getting people to buy stuff is hard. It's not easy to do, right? And so when you think about where we are today, getting back to your question, about 3 years ago when we said, wow, we built this great platform straight for commerce, but there's all these other sort of shopping things up the funnel. Let's go figure out how to create solutions there. And just as you mentioned, this could be getting a subscription off for HBO. This could be getting a coupon for Dunkin' Donuts, right? Or it could be actually buying the product that you see while you're watching the show. So that's what we've done with our ShopTV platform, is we've really created all of these various mechanisms, if you will, to basically push consumers down the purchase funnel and enable any aspect of that engagement quantifiably. And whether, again, that's actually purchasing a good, getting more information. In the case of Toyota, it could be setting up a test drive or getting a brochure on the car, or whatever that else might be.
Well, building a commerce app, right, that works for all of those solutions has been the holy grail of many of us in the TV industry. How do we enable this? We've seen a lot of experiments come and go. Why are you uniquely positioned to enable that now? And why is it now? I mean, we've seen so many failed projects. It's a long story. I'm not saying... I think in some ways you've stuck it out the longest. You have been, you pursued this and you've built this whole ecosystem, which I want to hear about. Why are we uniquely positioned right now in time to make this really happen, available for enterprise as well as to the consumer?
Yeah, and great, to your point, great admiration for our industry and our community and our ecosystem. We've all failed plenty. We've probably failed more than most because we've been at it for as long as we have, but we've been able to persevere and kind of grind through. A couple of reasons, right? Great team, great people, right? That are committed to this thing, committed to this journey. And our team, a lot of the executives on our team that have been around this and really want to finish the job. I'll tell you also, not a not subtle thing, is a great group of investors. I mean, the company has been able to attract great Silicon Valley investors like Bessemer Ventures, but also great strategic investors in the ecosystem that have helped push us forward. And this includes guys like Liberty, it includes Samsung, it includes Dentsu, who recently made an equity investment on the advertising side. So those are in addition to just the core perseverance, but those are the things, right? Great people, great investors enable you to stay in the business. And then, as importantly, is an ecosystem that has said, come on in. We're going to ride this with you. We're going to trust you. We're going to see this thing through together. And so that, we take great pride in the relationships we've built over time and the partnerships we've established. So this started for us with the content side of the equation. I think, as you know, as I mentioned, NBC and Bravo were our first two clients. We sort of taken that model out and extended that to most of the large content producers, most of the big studios and TV networks and whatnot. We then sort of took those relationships and said, hey, we can now have enough scale by providing this platform to the content side of the community. Let's go out and get our technology embedded in the firmware of all these devices. Now, look, if you walked into Samsung or Comcast with only having one deal with one network, you'd have a really hard time bringing them enough scale and enough value to actually drive meaningful value for them. So we benefited from the fact that we had, all of these great partners in the content side of the equation. That was really the thing that enabled us to get our technology now embedded in all these devices. We're going to be in 50 million smart televisions at the end of Q2, which is really exciting for us. And that when you get to scale, we've always said 50 million connected devices in the living room is really when this thing gets to scale, and that's when you're going to get advertisers and other marketers excited about the opportunities. So you saw the reel you just ran, but that's where we think it starts to get interesting.
I would say though that you are, a bit invisible, right? You're it's white labeled, correct?
Yeah,
in these environments,
they're behind the scenes doing this all quietly, and trying really just to create value for our partners. Our pitch to anybody we walk in the door to is we're going to create value for you. We're going to drive your revenue, drive more engagement with your audience, or give you better data to measure the effectiveness of your content and your advertising. Those are the three tenets of our pitch and why we exist. But yeah, we are behind the scenes.
I mean, but the ShopTV is more the platform. You're not going to use that brand in a more visible way?
Well, you do. If you do have a Samsung television now, or a Roku device, or an LG device, or a Sony device, or you can go into the app environment, much like Netflix, and you will see the ShopTV application. It's much like a marketplace of all of our partners. You can actually see it over my shoulder here, the live version of ShopTV right now. And so you can actually kind of see, you'll have, Empire, the hit show on Fox. You can shop through Empire, through ShopTV, but you can also shop through Walmart and through other top advertisers and retailers and Macy's and whatnot. So it is kind of, think about it as our marketplace to bring it all together. But you're right. The majority of our revenue and sort of what we're doing is really the guys behind the scenes facilitating all these pieces.
Now that's all, OTT kind of stuff. It's app driven. And of course, I'm excited are you going to get more involved with an Apple TV platform? Is that part of the future? Do you want to mention something about that?
No, I think all of them. I mean, there's a lot of running room there as it relates to other platforms that we're currently in the works on deploying. I won't mention them by name in terms of who they are, but I did mention the sort of the 5 that we are currently live with, and we expect to launch several more in the balance of this year to get just additional scale. We're particularly excited. You probably saw the announcement from Vizio this week. That's a really exciting development in our industry for all of us. It does speak to kind of what's going on with hardware, which is something we don't often talk about as much in these conversations, but that's exciting, right? They're giving out a 6-inch Android tablet device with every television. It's going to be tethered via ACR, and you can probably imagine for guys like us how exciting that is. That's because
Michael Collette, right? Michael Collette gets it over there, right?
Absolutely gets it.
And at Vizio, right?
At Vizio. When they did that deal, we were obviously really excited, right? The more guys that get it in the 4 walls of the companies that need to get it, the better for all of us. So that's an exciting one. And that I would mention them as another platform that's particularly attractive to us.
Well, speaking of hardware and relationship between your platform, and I know you're this is going to be ACR driven, of course. Yes, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's one of the ways that we trigger. And remember, we're old school enough that we still use, ROV data and TMS data and EPGs in some instances to trigger the contextual opportunities, right? I mean, really for us at our core, we're just looking for any signal from the device that can help us know what you're watching, right? And so we'll use any data signal. If it's ACR, if it's an audio fingerprint or a video fingerprint, or it could be, like I mentioned, it could be some other piece of metadata that's telling us what you're watching. But the hardware side of this is fascinating. I mean, one of the things we've all struggled with is how the heck can I use a remote control to do anything, right? It's cumbersome. It's tough to do. And, you're seeing a bunch of things happening in that world. I mean, Comcast has their voice activated remotes, which are great in our lab. We have Comcast as a partner of ours on the Tcommerce side. That it's pretty exciting. And we're having fun playing around with those devices. The Vizio thing, I think, is fascinating, right? You're going to be using this tablet that they give you to control your device, 6-inch Android device. It has a great screen, and think about all the greatness that will come from that. And then just consumers using smartphones as their remote control alternative. So there's a lot happening in this sort of tethered, pitch and catch between the primary screen and the second screen or the remote that I just think we sometimes gloss over. But for this to all take, frankly, in addition, like in our world, to getting to 50 million devices, the other thing it has to be dead easy for the consumer to engage with us, right? And that's the part that I'm excited that I think we're all making some progress there.
And of course, the real holy grail in all this, right, is figuring out the relationship between what somebody watches, what they buy, mixing and matching that data. I mean, and of course, I know we need to talk about Amazon at some point because they recently announced they're going to offer these capabilities. So what do you think about, aren't they in the position? Is this a company you're going to be working with? What's your relationship to Amazon?
Yeah, so a couple things. So there's two threads to that question. We'll do the Amazon, and then maybe we do the data piece, because I think the data piece is a pretty deep dive and an interesting topic. On Amazon, so we've done some trials with Amazon. We ran a campaign earlier this year with ACR with Qualcomm, which was a Qualcomm ad for a smartphone, and we would basically push you to Amazon to buy the phone through our platform. So we have done some initial trials with Amazon. I think the headline is for the industry. I mean, I think it's great, right? I think it's a tremendous validator of where this thing is going, and it's real.
I've always said they were the elephant in the room.
They are the elephant in the room, but here's the deal. There's 1,000 other little elephants that want to be in that room. And frankly, if you were to see the pitch that we go make to the little elephants, it's the big elephants coming to take over that screen. Don't let them do it, frankly, right? I mean, that's the call to arms for put yourself in the shoes of big brands. Think of your Nike, think of your Target, think of your Walmart, Macy's, any of these guys that Amazon is just eating your lunch kind of product category by product category. And here's another big screen that the average household we all know is still watching over 5 hours a day. That's $70 billion is spent on TV advertising that is getting connected to the internet. And you can hide under a rock and pretend like commerce is not going to be a part of the experience going forward, or you can lean forward and get in the game. And so I love it. I think it's great validation. Yeah, they're a great threat. I'll tell you, there's plenty of people out there though that aren't going to let them just take it without a fight. And those are the folks that frankly we can really help get scale immediately to put on the gloves and take that elephant down, or at least punch him a little bit.
I like that. I like how you articulated that. So tell me about what the gold mine of having all this data will be about going forward, and how you'll be able to manage it, measure it, track it, provide analytics. Tell me more about what you're going to do with all that.
So the one thing I'll say, we all know it, there's a high sensitivity on the privacy policies, and we're all paying close attention to not crossing any of those lines, right? And us especially. I mean, we really do everything now at a contextual level. So we know that you're watching something, we can trigger some offer based on what you're watching, and then we can track your behavior and what you do once you get the offer. And that, for us, we think is really important and impactful. We have a product called Datascope, which is our analytics engine that effectively takes viewership data, so how many people were watching the ad at a given point in time, and connects it directly with how many people engaged with that ad and how many people actually bought something from the ad, right? So Dunkin' Donuts, we can tell you that 100 people saw the ad, 10 people, downloaded the app, and 5 of those people got the coupon for $5 and took it into the Dunkin' Donuts store, right? And so just think about the power of that end-to-end analytics. And we've been in an industry where, look, we know what Procter & Gamble does to connect the data with sales at Walmart at the retail level after their ad runs and put all those pieces together. And yeah, they get there eventually, but it's hard. And we can do that in real time now, which is just mind-bogglingly cool as far as I'm concerned. So some real use cases of this and how guys are using it. One that I just am fascinated by, FanDuel, which you saw in that video reel earlier, ran on the platform in late 2015. What they did is they used us to test 5 different types of linear ad creative, okay? Because we could see the response rate on the ad in real time. So they ran 5 different types of linear ad. We could tell them which of those ads was performing the best, and then they could obviously adjust their creative and their media spend to get behind the ad that was working the best. And just from my mind, when you think about, those are sort of tactics that have historically been used by infomercial guys and DR guys, but you can do that now on a linear ad on a national avail, which I just think is fascinating and extremely cool stuff. We could also see with guys like that what network that the ad's running on is performing better and what network it's not performing so well. So I won't mention the guys that wasn't performing so well, but I will tell you that ad running on Comedy Central, had 4 times higher engagement rate than it had running on another network that you really would have expected it to be much, much more productive on. So we can see that kind of stuff now, and we can feed that back to the advertiser and help them understand how to optimize their media and, frankly, how to quantify the ROI that came off of their actual ad in the first place. So it's fascinating stuff, and I just think there's a whole world in the measurement side and attribution side that this new medium will enable us to take advantage of.
I mean, that gives you quite a lot of power and insight as to which audiences, at what time, based on what trigger and what show that people are willing to actually take action to purchase. I mean, advertising is sort of passive commerce, right? And this is all direct commerce.
Yeah, I mean, arguably,
that's a lot of power. That's a lot of information to give to a network and saying you're doing great with this show, keep doing more of this because this generates more commerce. That will influence what they do and what kind of content they get behind going forward.
I think it's good stuff. I mean, presumably people run ads to sell stuff, right? That's why they cut that check and go run that commercial. And whether it's a Toyota or a donut, or a Domino's.
But if they're actually purchasing, if they're actually saying, I got to do this now,
right,
that's a bigger impact.
Yeah, and to your point on the other insights, one of the things we've started looking at is negative sentiment. The people that are looking at ads and saying not interested, and you can absolutely see over-indexing negative sentiment and sort of match up the ad to the content and figure out what to read from that. So it's all of this thing. It's all this thing about just getting more data, more intelligence, and frankly just helping the industry be a little smarter, with the ultimate goal of future-proofing all of this, right? We want linear advertising to stay. We don't want this thing to turn into something else. We want it all to work and be productive, be a great user experience, and ultimately, protect the content side of the equation so we can all continue to love House of Cards, right? That's the thing.
Does your platform enable the consumer to set up their own shops, or influencers to set up their own storefronts, or somehow control the commerce relationship to content? What do you think about that?
I think it's a great call. So we do a lot of work with influencers directly. I think we were a launch partner with Twitter on the buy button within the tweet, and we've got I think we've got 1,200 influencers now running on our platform. These are folks that range from Oprah Winfrey to Jessica Simpson to our local Klay Thompson, who's on the Golden State Warriors, and these are all folks that are exposed in content that sell stuff directly to their audiences and are using our platform to do so. So yeah, it's a good growth opportunity for us. It's an area that we've plowed into pretty heavily in the last 4 quarters. And we think there's a real opportunity to sort of continue to exploit that.
Tell me about how, when you're pitching this to brands and to agencies, how do you discuss this with them? What is it do you think that they want from you? Do they want you just to deliver their ad, or are they actually asking to provide a commerce right there and then? Do they believe that things can be sold directly?
Well, like anything, there's not one answer to that question, right? I think a big challenge with all of this is who are you talking to? Like, what is this, right? There's a TV group, there's a digital group, there's an e-commerce group, right? And God, yeah, their KPI is probably a little different, right? And how they measure success is different. And so a big part of this thing is kind of evangelizing and organizing and figuring out who the heck it is to talk to. I think there certainly are brands that are more DR focused in their DNA, and they get it. And subsequently, yeah, this is not a hard thing to go figure out. I think FanDuel is a great example of that, where they get it, right? They spend TV dollars to get people to sign up for FanDuel accounts, right? You don't have to over pitch them on the value proposition here. Now, certainly in other instances, Toyota, which is a great partner of ours, right, and a big advertising partner of ours, they've done some interesting stuff. They started as enabling their national avails. So I see the Camry ad, I want to get more information on the Camry, and then have started to do local versions of that. So we've done, New England Dealers Association, targeted in New England. You see the national ad, but you get a localized offer that's specific to the market that you're in, right? So again, so I think there's not one answer to any of it, and it is a lot of evangelizing. It's a lot of hard work. We were fortunate to get the investment from Dentsu, right? That helps. They're one of the top 3 holding companies in the world. They help to evangelize the capability to their agencies and their clients. That's part of the game here. But I'll go back to scale, because I think once you have scale in all of this, it makes the decision a lot easier for these folks to say, let's pull the trigger and let's test this and get into the game.
Do you have any rough and ready statistics as to how much stuff has been sold using your platform, or versus monetization through subscription sales, or rough approximation of the success of advertising experiences? Is there any
sort of comparison? We'll be a little cautious with the numbers we share. I mean, as a company for us, I mean, we're generating well north of 9 figures of revenue annually, right? So you can use that as a proxy for how material we are in the world. In terms of kind of engagement rates off of the ads that I showed you there, I think, low end is about 0.8%, and we've seen as high as 3.5% on the range. I think we're really excited about that. I mean, if you think about what the banner ad was way back in the day on the internet, these are exciting engagement rates. But we'll see how it all plays out. I think we're getting smarter about it too. We have just in terms of what the user experience is, when to prompt the user. A lot of these questions that have lingered for many of us as we see this industry evolves, I think are going to be part of cracking the code on how to drive highest engagement.
And you do have a relationship with PayPal, correct?
Correct.
What do you think about those third-party transaction gateways? Are they more of a partner, like you say, or like Square? What do you think about some of the, there's Google Wallet, Apple Pay? How do they fit in with what you're trying to do?
Look, we're just trying to make it easy for the consumer, right? And so we've also partnered with Visa and their Visa Wallet product. We've partnered recently with MasterCard and their MasterPass product, I think. I think the goal is to make it as frictionless and easy for the consumer to actually pay for stuff. And so we've got no, I don't want to say we've got no loyalty there, but we've got no loyalty there. We want to just make it easy for the consumer, for our partners. And we're working with some of our retail partners that want to use their own billing relationship with the end consumer as a mechanism that consumer pays, which is fine by us. So we don't have a horse in that race. Again, we just want to make the broadest set of solutions available to our partners and let them choose and use whatever they want to of what we have.
You've mentioned scale several times. We haven't really discussed all the sort of content partners that you're working with. I want to give people the sense of some of the brand names that are today, working with you to either deliver ads or direct sales or things like that.
Sure. So on the sort of television side, we're proud of long-term partnerships with folks like NBC and Fox and CBS and HBO, Discovery. Kind of up and down the list. The Scripps family, we recently launched a partnership with the Food Network, one of our more recent network acquisitions. So really the gamut in terms of content partners. You mentioned House of Cards earlier. That was actually our first Netflix show. We've done a commercial deal with MRC Studios, who owns House of Cards, to start testing contextual commerce within Netflix content.
What happened? What was that? What was that? Tell me more about that.
That's great. So you can go buy Claire's Under Armour shirt that she wore in the second to last episode of this season.
How do I do that? Netflix doesn't have an interface where I can say,
ShopTV application, and this is where you mentioned some of the over-the-top things like social marketing, and this is where we can use some of those other channels to enable you to get there. So you can certainly get there through any of the connected TVs that we're powering, or the ShopTV experience if you want to go direct.
So if I'm on my Samsung, and I have a Samsung here, and what if I was watching through Apple TV? It probably wouldn't appear, right?
It has to be through on the triggering based upon different configurations in different living rooms. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, there's 7 different forms. You're watching on a Samsung TV through a Roku device or through an Apple TV device, and maybe through your Comcast set-top box. There's certainly some interference that our platform tries to traffic in terms of how and when we can trigger the capability, and we're highly sensitive, frankly, to those relationships and making sure that we keep it clean for everybody.
Well, I want to see more of those examples, especially with Netflix, because Netflix is so walled garden-ish, and I know they're going to explode in this area. It just seems like an obvious. So I'm very interested to hear about any more traction.
That's a good call. And look, we've also deployed with Google and YouTube. So in a YouTube player, we did a bunch of work with our music division, which, music videos are one of the most watched categories on YouTube. So we have the buy overlays come up. You're watching, the Rolling Stones video or the, whatever it might be, the Katy Perry video, and the ability to buy directly from the music video. So we're live doing that today as well, just in terms of other Netflix, but other kind of comps in terms of digital video platforms that we're plugged into. So, that's our goal, right? Is to, again, get this stuff into as many of these experiences as we possibly can and just create as much value as we can for all of our partners across all these various platforms.
Live streaming? Have you talked to some of these new live streaming platforms?
I haven't yet. It's on the list, but it has not been. It hasn't been at the top of the list yet. I'm certain that it will be as we go. The other area that we did roll out at CES, just in terms of next gen stuff. Not that this is not all next gen stuff. We rolled out with Fox and sort of a Samsung Oculus VR, shoppable VR experience that was pretty cool, where you could actually go behind the scenes of the show into the wardrobe closet of the actor or actress. Right. Really filter through the clothing and grab the product and try it on and buy it actually through our whole deal. So the VR thing we think is another category that we'll jump into as it matures a little bit.
You haven't mentioned interactive mirrors yet.
I saw them on the Shark Tank. Yeah, I'm not.
My cousin produces that show, by the way.
Really? Cool.
Yes, Max Swedlow. Hi, Max. He's a co-executive producer. But you see these things on YouTube or in stores in Europe. Europe's always experimenting with this stuff, where you have a mirror in a store or in your dressing room or something, and you try on the clothes, and it interfaces with this or something virtual, and then you can purchase it right there.
Cool. Yeah, no. So I'm
maybe someday.
It's close to that. It's another piece of glass. Any piece of glass that we can make shoppable, we're gonna get there at some point.
All right, sounds good. I think we've covered it all, unless there's something that you think you'd like to add.
No, we're fired up, and thank you for continuing to support us and be so kind to us. We appreciate all of it.
You're doing great work, and hopefully we'll see more of you, and we'll see you get sold or go IPO. What's going to happen?
You like that?
Or M&A? What's happening?
Didn't even budge. You couldn't even move me.
Come on, Mike. We know. All right. Well, good luck. Either way, I'm sure we'll see something in the future.
All right. Thanks so much, Tracy.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.